Battle of Thermopylae occurred during the Second Persian invasion of Greek. Persian advance and Greek strategic planning. The background to Thermopylae lies in the vast imperial ambition of Persia under King Xerxes I. After the Persian defeat at Marathon in 490 BCE, Persia did not abandon its goal of subduing Greece. Instead, Xerxes spent nearly a decade organizing an unprecedented military expedition. Ancient sources describe a massive multi-ethnic army drawn from across the Persian Empire: Medes, Persians, Egyptians, Babylonians, Phoenicians, and others, supported by a powerful navy. Whether exaggerated or not, the Persian force was unquestionably far larger than any single Greek army. The Greek city-states, traditionally divided and often hostile to one another, faced a moment of existential crisis. Athens, Sparta, Corinth, and others formed a temporary alliance known as the Hellenic League. Strategic debates dominated Greek councils. Some argued for defending the Isthmus of Corinth, abandoning northern Greece. Others, especially Athens, insisted that Persia must be resisted earlier to avoid total collapse. The final strategy was a dual defense plan. Thermopylae would block the Persian land army. Artemisium would engage the Persian fleet. Thermopylae was selected not for glory, but for geography. The pass was extremely narrow, at some points only wide enough for a single cart, making Persian numerical superiority useless. This decision reflects a sophisticated understanding of terrain-based warfare, one of the earliest examples of strategic defensive planning in Western military history. Persian arrival and the strategic standoff. When Xerxes arrived at Thermopylae, he expected immediate submission. Instead, he found a small Greek force calmly holding the pass. This shocked the Persian command. According to Herodotus, Xerxes delayed for 4 days, believing the Greeks would retreat once they saw the Persian host. This pause reveals Persian confidence bordering on arrogance and also shows the importance of psychological intimidation in ancient warfare. The Greek force was led by King Leonidas of Sparta, who commanded a symbolic contingent of 300 Spartan hoplites, supported by several thousand allies. The Spartans were not merely soldiers but professional warriors trained from childhood. Their presence served both military and psychological purposes. They reassured allies and signaled Spartan commitment, despite religious festivals limiting full mobilization. During the standoff, Persian envoys demanded surrender. Leonidas famously replied, "Come," and take the Molenlabe when asked to lay down arms. This response became emblematic of Greek defiance. Meanwhile, the Greeks strengthened their defensive position, repaired walls across the pass, and prepared for prolonged resistance. Strategically, this phase was critical. Every day the Greeks held Thermopylae delayed Persian advance, allowed Greek cities to prepare, and prevented immediate collapse of Greek morale. First day of battle: Persian frontal assaults. On the first day of actual fighting, Xerxes launched repeated frontal assaults against the Greek position. He expected his numbers to overwhelm the defenders. Instead, the Persians encountered a disciplined hoplite phalanx, a formation that combined heavy shields, long spears, and collective movement. The narrowness of Thermopylae neutralized Persian advantages. Persian troops, lightly armored and trained for open-field combat, could not maneuver effectively. Greek hoplites fought in rotation, maintaining stamina while presenting a solid wall of shields. The Spartans deliberately pretended to retreat at moments, drawing Persians forward before suddenly counterattacking, a classic tactical deception. Xerxes then committed his elite troops, the Immortals, expecting them to break the Greek line. Even they failed. By the end of the day, Persian casualties were heavy, while Greek losses were minimal. Second day of battle, tactical deadlock. On the second day, Xerxes renewed his attacks with greater determination. He assumed that fatigue and casualties must have weakened the Greeks. However, Leonidas expertly rotated troops, ensuring that no unit fought to exhaustion. This rotation system demonstrated advanced battlefield management and command control. The Greeks continued to hold the pass. Persian assaults again failed and casualties mounted. Persian troops became demoralized, while Greek soldiers grew more confident with each repelled attack. Importantly, Greek resistance during this phase was not only Spartan allies such as the Thespians fought with equal courage, reinforcing the collective nature of the defense. By the end of the second day, the battle had reached a stalemate. Militarily, Persia was failing. Strategically, however, time was becoming dangerous for the Greeks. The longer they stayed, the more likely Persia would find an alternative route. This tension sets the stage for betrayal. Betrayal of Ephialtes and strategic collapse. The critical turning point came not through battlefield defeat but treachery. A local Greek, named Ephialtes, motivated by greed or resentment, revealed the existence of a hidden mountain path called the Anapeia Path, which allowed Persian troops to bypass Thermopylae. Xerxes immediately seized this opportunity. He dispatched the immortals under cover of night to outflank the Greek position. This maneuver transformed the strategic situation entirely. Thermopylae, which had been nearly impregnable from the front, became indefensible once surrounded. Leonidas was informed at dawn. His response demonstrated exceptional leadership. Recognizing that the strategic objective delay had been achieved, he ordered most Greek forces to withdraw and survive for future battles. He chose to remain behind with his Spartans and a small number of allies, fully aware that death was certain. The final stand of Leonidas' strategy, sacrifice, and symbolism. By the dawn of the seventh day, King Leonidas, I had full knowledge that the Persian forces had successfully outflanked the Greek position using the Anapeia mountain path. This intelligence transformed the Greek situation from a defensible stand into an inescapable encirclement. At this critical moment, Leonidas faced a complex strategic and moral decision, whether to withdraw entirely or to make a last stand that would delay the Persian advance and inspire the Greek world. Leonidas chose the latter. His decision was influenced by several factors. Strategically, a continued stand, even a doomed one, would buy crucial time for Greek naval forces at Artemisium to disengage and for southern Greece to prepare defenses. Religiously and culturally, Spartan law and prophecy played a role. An oracle from Delphi had foretold that either Sparta would fall or a Spartan king must die. Leonidas interpreted his sacrifice as fulfillment of this prophecy and as obedience to Spartan ideals of duty and honor. He therefore ordered the majority of Greek allies to withdraw, preserving their forces for future battles. Only a small contingent remained, 300 Spartans, bound by law and discipline, 700 Thespians who voluntarily chose to stay and die, 400 Thebans, likely compelled, though some later surrendered. This withdrawal transformed the battle into a deliberate sacrificial stand, not a military miscalculation. The final combat was intense and chaotic. Leonidas was killed early in the fighting, possibly by Persian archers or during close combat. A fierce struggle erupted over his body, reflecting both Spartan reverence for fallen leaders and Persian desire to crush Greek morale. With spears broken, the Greeks fought with short swords, shields, and eventually bare hands. They retreated to a small hill, where they were surrounded and overwhelmed. Persian forces, unable to defeat the defenders easily in close combat, resorted to massed missile fire. The final survivors were cut down by arrows. Militarily, this phase ended Greek resistance at Thermopylae, but morally, it marked the beginning of Greek unity and resolve. Immediate aftermath and long-term consequences. In immediate military terms, the Persian victory at Thermopylae opened the route into central and southern Greece. Persian forces advanced southward, eventually capturing and burning Athens, which had been largely evacuated. From a tactical perspective, Persia had succeeded in removing the land barrier that blocked its progress. The Persian Empire won the tactical battle and captured Athens.